okay,
Do you
this,
want to tell viewers what is data labeling?
people are talented everywhere, but they don't have the equal opportunity. Usually that's a lesson you learn. You might give your 100% to the company, but at the end of the day, you're always
Corporate.
replaceable in
Yeah.
corporate, right? The other interesting part to data labeling, which we also learned along our journey, is that this is not done by people like you and me. Our company Taskmonk today, even today, our Azure subscription is $2,000 a month, which is very low.
Just getting excited because you spoke about HR, right, a couple of minutes back. So, as an HR in the organization, what role do they have?
Like everyone, I used to also think, what is the job of HR,
HR.
right? Why do we even need them in the company? They are just troubling us. They are just creating more problems. That was the impression.
Yeah. So, welcome to one more inspiring episode of Manthan with Laxman. Today, I have a special guest who is quite close to me, who believes in two words. One is innovation, the other one is impact after this innovation. Coming from a small town to becoming a CTO, Chief Technology Officer of one of the global brand Taskmonk, and this company is into redefining how AI will learn, how AI will perform, and then contribute towards the society. My guest believes in one concept: the intelligence of AI is not only because of algorithms, but the human wisdom behind that. So, serving Fortune 500 companies, I welcome Vikram Kedlaya. Vikram, to my podcast. Vikram, I would like to welcome to
Thank you.
Manthan with Laxman. It's honor to have you here.
Likewise, it's an honor to be here, Lakshman, because I know you from so long and you have started this podcast from this same town where I started something, and it's an honor to be here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, Vikram, before we get into a discussion, right? People are so obsessed with this AI, artificial intelligence, right? So I was telling you when we discussed. So a few days back, I'd been to one government school, the Kannada medium. Kids were like seventh, eighth, ninth standard. Suddenly, a topic about technology. So we started discussing on that, and they are talking about AI. Just imagine, like when we were in probably even degree, also I don't know what
Yeah.
is AI. Right? There's a trend which is formed, of course, last few years. These kids started talking about AI, and they want to become AI engineers. They want to learn AI. They're using ChatGPT. So probably that's a transformation what we have seen. That's one thing.
Mhm.
Even the grown-ups, if I talk to my colleagues, right, the tech guys, they tell I've done this certification, that certification. Previously it used to be like I've done certification, this technology, that skill set, management. Now it is AI. They want to study AI, they want to perform AI, everything is around AI. Now for a common man, you tell me, from since you are from the industry, you are a technology guy, so what is AI for a common man? How does that look like?
So, in my opinion, from what I have seen, AI is actually creating an impact only in B2B business.
Okay, okay.
So, it has not reached the common man yet.
Wait, okay.
It's just through chat gpt they have an exposure to AI, and of course with the younger kids there is a lot of AI in apps like Instagram which is being used on regular basis, right? That's the impact, but it hasn't been life changing yet.
It's yet to reach that.
It's yet to reach that stage in terms of businesses where we do kind of B2B,
Hmm,
right, more
hmm,
than
hmm,
B2C.
hmm,
So
hmm.
there the impacts have been bigger, and you must have heard of so many layoffs across the
Yeah,
globe,
yeah.
and most of them attributing it to AI. But there is also other side to it where it's not totally because of AI. It's also because of overhiring during the post-COVID
Or
era.
probably you have not upgraded yourself to the future need.
Yeah, and it's more of a panic stage right now where AI is taking over certain things, and I don't think we need so many people in my organization. So I think I
Lot of
better let
automations.
go. Yeah, while this wave is going on of layoffs, a lot of companies might actually, join the bandwagon and do the same thing. But like I said, for a common man, none of this has, created
Has
any impact.
arrived at.
Yes,
Hmm.
and We take the people in our village, if you ask them about AI, they have
They
no
still
idea
don't
about
know.
it. So until I think it creates an actual impact where everything changes in the way we operate on a day-to-day basis in any part of the world, I don't think the real AI might have arrived until then.
It's yet to.
Yes, we have just touched the surface so far. It's definitely going to be the future, but this is not it.
We have not reached it.
Yeah.
So, introduction also I told, coming from a small place, small town, now becoming a CTO of a company. We'll talk about that company for sure, right? So how did this happen? How did this journey started, right?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because I always believed that this kind of journey I would definitely take
Hmm.
in my life. That is something I always was passionate about. But when I look back now, things happened, at certain stages at the right time, and that's how this happened. Otherwise, I would have been on a totally different path, right? Because I started, my journey in a village called Herga.
Okay, I know, yeah.
So not many people from my village get an opportunity to make a difference on the global stage. It's very difficult because I always believe that people are talented everywhere, but they don't have the equal opportunity. For
Encashing that talent is a question mark.
It's difficult when you don't have the opportunity to showcase. It's difficult for anyone to shine even if they have the real talent. For example, I would say every 90 out of 100 kids in Bangalore have the opportunity to make it big. But if you compare it to Udupi, I think it's just 10 out of 100.
The extreme other side.
Yes. So it's difficult when the opportunity is not as much as the talent is, it's difficult for everyone to shine, even though they have the real potential. Now, I was always thinking that, okay, I have the potential. I believe I have the potential, but can I make it big being in this village? Right, then things happen. So I did my engineering in a college in Mangalore because I was not great at my studies, right? Whatever the CET offered me, I took that
You had
college.
to choose that, yeah.
Yeah, and took computer science, studied, and I got placed in Infosys. See, I told you about things happening at the
Hmm,
right time,
hmm,
right?
hmm.
This was one of the things that happened in my life where I did not take the wrong step. I got placed in Infosys during the fourth year of my engineering
Hmm. As a part of
as a
campus,
part of
probably,
campus.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, a lot of people get placed
Hmm.
in Infosys, so I was one of them. But I was probably the only one in my batch who did not join Infosys.
That's a dream company for at least people
Yes.
around.
Yeah.
Info is a big brand, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a big brand, definitely.
Nothing
They
against Infosys. It was,
absolutely
yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone gives as many employment as Infosys
Correct,
does every
correct.
year. So absolutely very much needed for our region, company like that. But I was kind of feeling that this is not the right company for me because from the beginning of my engineering, my dream was to join a company like Google. In fact, during college days, I even told my HOD that, okay, I am not going to join Infosys, I'm going to join Google. And he absolutely laughed at me because Google, first of all, is not going to come here and you don't qualify
Please
to.
search in Google how
Exactly.
it.
You are studying in a college where you did not qualify in a good way in CET.
Hmm,
That's why you
hmm.
ended up here. Now you cannot imagine to join Google
Google. Hmm.
from here, right? Yeah, definitely I was a laughing stock. But later, when I did not want to join Infosys, I was very clear. I told them, okay, I will join the campus placements. I'll be a part of it because it also gives a good
Opportunity to.
opportunity
Hmm.
and also a fallback for me if nothing works out, right? But as soon as I graduated, I moved to Bangalore. Infosys had not, sent the offer letter
Offer
yet.
letter.
It
Hmm.
takes a while. So I moved to Bangalore and started looking for jobs off campus. And luckily, I ended up in a company called Metric Stream, but again, not the role that I wanted. It was just an entry that I wanted to,
Into
get
corporate.
into
Hmm.
corporate, whatever the role it is. Let me just try my hands on it. That was the idea. But I joined a team called CORD, which is also very specific to that company, called Customer Oriented Research and Development.
Hmm. Hmm. This is how many years back?
This was in 2012.
12, 13 years back.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And there I was, initially a system support engineer. I was supporting the systems where our applications were hosted. in the customers
Hmm. Hmm.
premises. So then slowly, moved on to supporting the applications, not just the system, our own application. And then, after a couple of years, I was doing well. And
There's
then,
end-to-end deployment, support,
yes,
everything.
everything, yeah. But most of the time we would just be on calls with customers, debugging or installing something.
Hmm. Hmm.
It was real good hard work at that point. We would get to learn a
A
lot,
lot of things.
yeah, which I don't think we would get if we just become, an application developer in the beginning, right? Your job is limited to what you develop. But here the exposure was more. I was working with Citibank for a long time,
As one of
and
the
as
customer.
one of they were our biggest customers,
Hmm.
and I was directly deployed into their project. And luckily my senior, he was not so interested in being on calls, and he would just push me to take the call alone, which gave me more and more exposure.
Exposure. Hmm.
Although I would have not performed up to the greatest extent one
On
would
job
do.
training itself.
Yeah, it was kind of on job training
Hmm.
where people did not, tell me what to do. I learned by myself by trying different
Got beaten up
experiments.
and then started learning. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. In fact, there was a time on one of the days where they did not allow me to get off the call, even to go home. They made me sit on the call. They said, "You and I are sitting on this call until this issue is
It's
resolved," which
solved.
took
Hmm.
around 36 hours, I
Oh
remember.
God. Hmm.
And that was the hardest time. But the amount of learning you get from that, if you look at the positives, right? You might not get to, go out with your friends after work, do the things that most
Some
people do.
sacrifice. Yeah.
Yes. But if you are okay sacrificing all that, you get to learn a lot. Now, after that, I kind of wanted to move out of the company and try something else. And I almost joined another company. But on the last working day, that was after serving my notice period, my HR had called me and he said, "I want to talk to you." Okay, I went and he said, "We want to retain you." And I was very clear it was too late because I had already
Yeah.
committed to joining somewhere else. I've made up my mind and this is not the right time. They had 2 months if to make an offer, but they did not. But this
But
did
were you
not come.
expecting an offer?
No, I was not, because
You were
every
clear with your
I was
decision.
very clear, and I don't think my manager bothered about me quitting. Nobody did. Usually, that's a lesson you learn. You might give your 100% to the company, but at the end of the day, you're always
Corporate.
replaceable in
Yeah.
corporate, right? So you should take it just with a pinch of salt and not have any hard feelings towards that. But I got a very good offer, and the only requirement I had put forth to them was that I want to move to development. I've been a system engineer, application engineer, support engineer,
Want to get
everything.
into coding. Hmm.
I want to get into coding.
Hmm.
They said, "Sure, why not? There is a small team which is, doing the coding now
Hmm.
on a very new application, mobile application.
Hmm.
Why don't you meet the manager?" So I met a manager, very, very interesting guy. His name is Sadananda Vaidya, one of the best managers ever had. He was super cool. And he said, "Okay, you don't have any coding experience, but you can definitely learn. Why don't you just join my team and start from tomorrow?" And that just happened. I got retained on the last working day. Next day, I'm totally in a different
Oh,
team.
same company, but you okay,
Yes,
different role.
different role,
Hmm.
different team. A team I didn't even know
Wow.
that existed,
Okay.
but it was a good experience. So now this was my five. I lasted there only 6 months though,
After
because
the new role.
after the new role. So that was my 5 years in one company, metric stream. So straight from Manipal to Bangalore, and 5 years in a corporate, same company, tried different
Roles. Hmm.
roles. It was pretty exciting, and that's when I decided, now I have the potential, I have the knowledge. Why should I not do something on my own? So this is when things changed.
Any
So
triggering point?
there was no hatred towards what I was doing. I did not believe that, okay, this is not the job for me. I shouldn't be doing this. Why am I really working hard for someone else? Or they are paying me less than what I am supposed to get. This None of these were the factors. It was just that I wanted to do something different,
Your
and
vision.
I knew I had the potential. So, but I was not sure whether it would work out or not. I wanted to give it 2 years and see how things go. And that is when I decided, okay, this is real now. I'm not moving to another company. I'm not taking any other offer from this company. I want to just quit and do something
Start
of my
something
own.
by your own.
Yes.
Hmm.
So because I had the coding experience, I had started doing something in parallel, that is developing small app and all of that. I learned technologies like React JS, then the backend, Scala,
Hmm.
Java,
Hmm.
all
Hmm.
of this. And this is when I started a company called, it was a startup which was called Murmuration Solutions.
In
And
Bangalore.
in Bangalore,
Hmm.
with my cousin, we both started this and we were developing a few apps. And one of the apps that made it to production was a church management app.
Hmm.
So we started with that for a church in Bombay. They wanted to manage memberships and other things.
Donations
Yes, all
and
of this. So they wanted to have an app for end users to make the payment, manage their subscriptions, add their family, all of that. So we worked very closely with that church,
it's
and
like a
we
website, probably.
there was a website, also a mobile app for
Okay,
end users.
okay,
You
okay.
could manage everything
Hmm.
on the
Hmm.
app.
Hmm.
That's when we developed this in about a year, and we went to Mumbai for the launch. And there we had to sit with the bishop for the launch. Oh, pretty exciting things, very new to us. It was nice. Then we kind of tried our hands on different applications like temple management. Then there was one mobile app for doctors to communicate, NHS doctors in
Hmm.
UK.
Hmm.
So they wanted to have a dedicated app where they could share confidential information about patients,
Okay,
not
okay.
use WhatsApp for that, all of that. So we tried different things. But everything changed when we saw the need in AI. Until then, there was
So
no
this
AI.
is what? How many years back?
This was 2017, 2018
The
times.
trend of AI just started.
Just started, and we had no knowledge of AI. I mean, back then there was no chat GPT either, right?
To learn something.
Yes. So AI was just that a computer can learn by itself, computer can do
Give an
things by
output by
itself.
itself.
Yes. It is not something you program, it is something it does more than what you program, right? So that was the knowledge we had about AI. But what we saw was the real need. Right now, if you ask for anyone to start a company, the real need is to develop an AI model using ChatGPT or using Claude, any of the foundation models
Hmm.
you build
Hmm.
on top of it, and you develop a product and start a company. That is the real need right now. But back then, the real need was for a company to even develop an AI product, they need a lot of training data.
Backend, like kind of database.
Yes,
Hmm.
it's a kind of data that you can feed to the computer and tell it, okay, this is this data.
It's an input
For
for an
example,
output.
yes,
Hmm.
for example, in an image, if you are looking at a street image, okay, this is the car, this is pedestrian, this is the sidewalk, all of this, that is training data
Hmm.
basically.
Hmm.
And we came across a company, and the founder of the company had a meeting with us, and he said, we are doing data labeling for a lot of companies. We are about 250 people strong, but everything we do on Excel today. Now, I don't think we can scale from 250,000 2,000 people using just Excel.
Excel. Yeah.
So we need something, we need a system which can do this. That's when we started looking at how exactly data labeling is done. And we thought, okay,
Do you
this.
want to tell viewers what is data labeling?
Sure,
Simply.
yeah. So basically, take any data type, for example, text. In an e-commerce domain,
Hmm.
if you just search on Amazon, right, what you might have keywords of your own.
Yeah. Hmm.
Now that search should provide the results which you are expecting. For example, if you just say maybe 3x. Now 3x could have so many
Multiple
different
dimensions. Yeah.
meanings, but the AI model that is trained actually understands what is 3x, what context the user is searching in, what should be the relevant results.
Maybe due to the previous search histories, everything will come into
Everything,
picture.
more
Yeah.
lot of things will come in.
Yeah.
And everything is also context based. Now if you are in the same session and if you're searching for different things, the recommendations that you see will actually match what you're looking for.
Correct.
All this is done using a lot of training data. Now training data is the data which is the ground truth. That is what the users actually meant in the past. You are collecting that data, you are asking humans to label the data. That is, they are going to tell you what is this data, what should it
Okay.
be,
Okay.
what label it should have. If it's an image, then you're drawing bounding boxes around it or drawing a polygon around it and saying, okay, this is the car in the image, this is the human in the image. All of these are labeled. That's why we call it as labeled data.
Hmm.
So the entire connotation of data labeling comes from there. You're just labeling the data using different classes. It
Hmm.
can be
Hmm.
anything,
Hmm.
right? So that is the job. Interestingly, most of the data labeling is done out of India,
Globally,
globally.
for global
Yes,
need.
yes. There is some done out of China, then some out of Philippines, some out of Vietnam, but most of it happens in India. That's why there are these large companies which are massive. You might imagine them to have 5,000 to 6,000 people just doing this
L-
data labeling activity.
labeling.
And the other interesting part to data labeling, which we also learned along our journey, is that this is not done by people like you and me. You don't need people who are graduates or who need to have certain degree, certain
Skill
training.
set.
No, not necessary. Back then, when we started, people who are from tier 2, tier 3 cities, maybe a housewife or person who has just lost his job and they want to have a real job, this was an opportunity.
Kind of
One,
a BPO
yes, it is.
outsourcing concept.
Absolutely, yes, it
Hmm.
is BPO, but now
Technical
now there is a new term for it called KPO,
knowledge process.
knowledge process.
Hmm.
So these are the people who have the knowledge to do certain things. BPO would be very basic. That is, you're
It
answering
can be
customer support
non-technical,
calls or
non-technical.
something. Yeah. So this is a little bit knowledge based. It's not the reality today. This was when we started. It used to be
8 years
just
back.
BPO, KPO, that kind of job. And so this was the activity. Now, to do this on an Excel sheet, for example, you see a query and you put the
Hmm.
labels in
Hmm.
another column. You have to do this for
Manual work.
millions of rows
Hmm.
in an Excel. And how do you distribute the task between different people? And after the tasks are done, there is a review process as well. You have to quality check, because if you
Give a
feed
wrong
wrong
label.
label to the training model, your entire model is going to predict wrong
Output
outcomes.
is
It's
not
it can
reliable. Yeah.
be it can be very critical as well. For example, if Tesla is an AI model, right? So it
Hmm.
has undergone a lot of training. Now, if someone labeled wrongly that a pedestrian crossing the road as, there is no pedestrian, then the car would just move,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
This could be very critical. Now, this needs a lot of training data, a lot of
QC.
scenarios, huge. And that is where we saw the need. Okay, if one company has millions of data that needs to be labeled, imagine the number of industries, number of companies that want to build AI models.
And
And
AI is getting diversified
yes, and one training data is not going to fit any other domain. It is just for that.
for that domain.
And customers are also very careful about their data. They don't want their data to be shared with someone else.
Exposed.
Yes. So every company comes with their own raw data and gives to companies like ours to say, okay, you label the data for us. Now, this is where we thought a company which is 250 people strong can definitely scale to 1,000 people strong, but not with Excel. And that is why we took this as a 6 months project.
Hmm.
We started this in end of 2017, and we thought in 6 months we have to build this. And back then it was just two people building it, and one people providing the design and other things.
Hmm.
So we started work on this. We built exactly as per the wireframe. It was a simple black and white screen. I mean, if you look at it today, you would laugh at it, because companies
Then
like
and now
systems,
picture.
yeah, systems like Lovable and Claude, all of this can build better apps today, right?
Correct.
You just
Correct.
give a command and it
Come
would
on.
do.
Yeah. Hmm.
Things have become that simple, but we took 6 months to develop just that back then. And we did it, and we had a customer ready, because though that customer was waiting for a platform like this. We did it. We did everything
At
as
the
per
same
their needs.
250 employee
Yes,
based
yeah.
customer. Hmm.
And in 6 months we were delivered, and they started production. They started with
It
simple
went
use
live.
cases.
It went live in
Yes, it
six
went
months.
live. And the 250 people could work, suddenly switch from Excel to a platform. And the interesting part was, most of these users had no knowledge of computer other than Excel. Excel, Word were the only things they had interacted with. To introduce them to a SaaS product,
Hmm. Hmm.
which is accessible through a browser, and you need to log in and create your own session, and you have your work already assigned to you. In Excel,
Everything automated.
you need
Hmm.
to wait for a file. Everything here, everything gets auto assigned, and you can have nice dashboards to see how much you have contributed today, what is your performance, all of this, right? So for us, these are basic, but for the end users, this were
It's a big thing.
this it's a big thing. They are interacting with a system that they have never seen before. So slowly we started building other data types, and today we are data type agnostic. We support every data type, every industry. So we took product
So
as
what
the
was
core
that
concept.
company into? Was it e-commerce
They
again?
were mainly into e-commerce.
Okay.
So that's why we started with text. And slowly we started building computer vision, that is images, videos, audios. Now we even support lidar, which is mainly used in autonomous vehicles. It's a sensor based imaging. It is not your regular cameras.
Mm.
It emits lidar laser and takes the reflection point, and that's how the distance,
Decision happens.
everything is calculated, very advanced. So we support that as well now. So the data labeling has also evolved from being a simple Excel based task to today systems doing most of the things, and humans are only reviewing what the system is doing, whether it's fine or not, whether it needs correction. So it has come to that stage. That's why we, being a product based company, has helped us stay very relevant in this industry, because we cater to the industry through our product, not through the humans.
Correct.
There are other companies which are using our product, but their core strength is humans. So they
Mm.
look for work, they get enterprise work, but they use our platform to do the work. So
Technically, your product is installed there, and they're
yes,
okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
that's what Taskmonk is.
So now coming back to, of course, you explained why did you get into solving training data quality, right? The labeling part. Now, most of the companies they feel AI is a ready-made tool. It's just plug and play kind, right? But you have told I think in one of the LinkedIn article also, it can never be a ready-made tool. But most of the companies assume that misconception.
Yeah.
So why do you feel that?
So it can be a ready-made tool, but it limits what usage it can, actually be available in an enterprise. For
Ready-made
example,
tool in the sense probably if they're buying that from an outsider, it's a ready-made tool for them. But if they want to develop themselves, then it's not a ready.
it is not. So depends. So are you a consumer of AI or are you a developer of AI? It
Okay.
varies. So there are a lot of companies, enterprises today, which are just consumers of AI. So for them, their CEO might say, okay, we want AI integrated into this solution, right? What do? You might just integrate Claude, you might integrate Chat GPT and provide some nice options for users to type, search, auto summarize, a lot of these
Hmm.
things. This is just consumption of AI. So you're consuming AI models which are readily available, and you're integrating it with your solution. Very simple.
With their existing product.
Yes,
Hmm.
but this is as good as users using Chat GPT and Claude today, right? What is available is what is possible. But if you are developing an AI product today that is for a real world problem you're trying to solve through AI, then you need to start from scratch. And from scratch, I mean you need to collect training data first. Data collection is a huge activity. Tesla did not, complete the project in 6 months. They took about many few years to collect
Yes.
that
Yeah.
data. You need to collect so much data using cameras, right? So data collection is also a very huge activity in this. So when you are building your own product, the journey is pretty long. You need collection of data, then you need to label the data, then you have a few machine learning engineers who train the data, model is ready, and then you deploy in production. So this is a huge journey. Today, it is simplified to a certain extent. It varies again from industry to industry. In certain industries, there is already a foundation model available, which is built by someone else and they have open sourced it. Now you can use it. You can put some training data on top of it, and customize the model to perform the way you want it for your data,
Hmm.
right? The more data you train it with, the better the model is always. More accurate data, more labeled data, it's always
Output
better.
is more qualitative. Hmm.
Yes. So this is an ongoing activity. You train the model, you put it in production, you look at the bad performance of the model, you train that again for those cases. So it's an ongoing activity forever. A model is no A model today is 100% accurate. And I don't know when any model can become 100% accurate,
100%.
because it is not limited. Earlier software used to have limited actions. So you can say, okay, these many actions it can support, it is 100% accurate. It can never go wrong.
They
For
knew the
example,
target.
yes,
Hmm.
for example, Excel today, it can never, go wrong with a formula, right?
Correct.
It is limited. But with AI, it's based on the usage. Users might use it differently. There might be
Different
so
way.
many edge cases you would have never thought of while you're developing this. So it is an ongoing journey forever, which is why we will stay relevant in
Correct.
this industry, right?
Industry.
Because training data is absolutely
It's
needed,
not
no
going to get
matter
obsolete. Yeah.
how long you are going to develop the model. So it takes a lot of effort for people to acquire training data. as well as to develop an accurate model.
So now every company is going behind getting AI into their scope, right? Most of the AI fail. Is it because of the kind of people they have around? Is it because of the technology itself, or is it because a wrong expectation set by probably the I'll not call founder. You're also one of the founder.
No,
So, by seniors. Yeah,
yeah, it's an
yeah.
irony that most of the models today, models actually perform well if they are trained well, but the use cases are a problem today. Now, a founder or a CEO or a CTO of a company, a large company, they might have not had enough exposure to AI, enough
It's a new for
hands-on.
them also.
It's a enough hands-on experience, right? For them, AI is a concept that they read a book about, they read certain blogs about, they see
Or
their
probably
competitors,
customers will say,
customers,
yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
Customers will ask for a requirement. They go crazy and they say, okay, we need to integrate AI with our application. Now, for them, AI is a simple thing. You hire a few people and you get it integrated. But in reality, the use case that they're expecting for AI to support is not that simple. And half of the time in an organization is spent negotiating the use case.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
development team will say, this is not possible. Why is it not possible? We don't have enough training data for this. We need to acquire a lot of training data. Now the CEO will say, how hard it is. Just get the training data that you need. We'll pay for it. You can't pay for training data. You need to collect it. You need to
Correct.
label it.
Correct.
It's a long activity. It's not available, readily made
It's
for
ready.
you.
Yeah. Hmm.
So this is where things go wrong. Now, what the CEO or the founder expects for AI, it's not actually the reality. Now, the use case is very complex. It's not easy. It's not as simple as integrating ChatGPT. So this is where things fail. Now, the negotiation takes a long time. People don't arrive at a conclusion that whether you should do it or not. It goes on, and if the CEO is very pushy, then the developers will have to,
Yeah.
give up
Yeah.
and start developing that.
Yeah.
You
He
take
has to be competitive in market,
exactly,
customers, and all those things,
yeah.
right?
You
Yeah.
take about 3 months to develop something, and finally, when you actually integrate it in production, the edge cases are more than the real cases. So what
Hmm.
happens? A lot of things fail. Now, your customers will say, I cannot rely on this. The most of the things are
Yeah.
wrong,
Yeah.
incorrect, so I cannot rely on it. Now that is when the CEO realizes the real mistake. This is what is happening with a lot of companies. The top leadership, unless they are hands on AI, it's difficult for a company to progress in AI. So you
Hmm.
need the
Hmm.
leadership who
Hmm.
is capable of making the right decision when it comes to AI.
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
can, you might have seen the meme going around everywhere, right? That the CEO wants AI. When does he want it? Today. Why does he want it? No idea.
No,
So a lot of things like that. Now, most people want to be competitive and be relevant by integrating AI. But
need
do
of the
you do you
situation,
have a
kind of.
real
Yeah.
use case? Is it going to solve real problems? That is something a lot of people have to analyze.
Is it the biggest myth from the leadership, or probably what is the biggest myth from the leadership
I
about
think
AI? Of
most of the
course,
myths are busted now, at least. A few years ago, that was the biggest myth that AI can be developed easily. You hire
overnight.
a few machine learning engineers, you can develop any model. But the training itself is a process which is very complex. It is not that A plus B equal to C. You cannot have a formula. Training has so many factors. It's very technical, but so many things can go wrong. You might see some of the cases which you would have not expected. And finally, there was a real gap in the industry as well, that there were a lot of machine learning people who were capable of developing, training the model,
Hmm. Hmm.
but not sure how to deploy it. So those are two different things. So you are capable of doing everything, but you don't know how
How
you
to
can give
deploy?
it for people to consume finally. That would take a long time, more than developing. So when certain things happen, it's difficult for an organization to come out with an end product that is readily available, right? So that is why now the focus is back on software developers, system engineers who are capable of creating the APIs for this, endpoint for this, and giving out to other
And
companies for inference and things like that. So an organization needs everything, not just data science engineers or machine learning engineers. They need all the other departments as
it's
well, even as of
ecosystem
today.
kind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So just saying AI will replace everyone is definitely a myth. But in the future, we don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah, because recently I saw even Elon Musk in the podcast saying that
Yeah, Nikhil Kamar's
yes, exactly.
podcast.
So
Next 10 years, it's
yeah,
going to.
he says that work will become optional for people. It's like a hobby. Now
Correct.
there won't
Yeah.
be any work left. I don't fully believe in it, but to a certain extent, many jobs can get replaced
Get
in
replaced.
AI. That will be the real impact of AI. Right now, what is happening is mostly panic based, but there will be a time when most of the activities can be done by you
So
know
it's a right time for someone to upgrade.
it is very hard. So we I get a lot of questions from people I know that okay, my son is doing engineering, what should he study to get a job? I don't really have an answer. I don't know what people can do today to get into the industry and stay relevant there. So machine learning engineer, if every engineer today, every graduate is a machine learning engineer, do we need so many people? You don't. They are not like software developers where you
Correct,
need to
correct,
hire
correct.
100 200 people. That's not the case. Those are very small teams. And there the amount of programming you do is very little. A lot of work is preparing the data, preparing the architecture,
Which
all of this.
Taskmonk is into, right?
Taskmonk is into providing the labeling data,
Okay,
but at the our customers, they train the model, and those are very small
okay.
teams which actually
Yeah,
work
yeah,
with the
true,
data.
true,
You
true.
don't need so many people anymore for AI to build AI for other activities. So there is a little bit of a conflict when someone asks, "What should my son or daughter study next?" You cannot simply
And
say become a machine learning engineer.
and one more risk factor is, sorry to interrupt. You define something to them, and if that does not work out, it is going to
Yeah, because
come back,
yeah, you don't know the
right?
future. By the time they finish the course, if that becomes irrelevant,
Vikram had
yeah,
told they to learn this.
exactly.
There's no
And
scope.
when it's known people, you don't want the blame on you, right?
True, true, true.
So it's hard to answer today, and we don't know what the future holds. There is definitely going to be a massive disruption. But like I said in the beginning, the real impact will be when every person around us is capable of using AI, plus also having some impact on their daily life.
Correct.
When AI
For a better
reaches,
reason. For a
yeah,
better
when AI
reason.
reaches
Yeah.
every person on Earth, that's when the real impact will be. Right now, I don't think it is even at
At least for
1%.
next few years.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it has not reached even 1% of the world population. So
So there is always also a concept called data annotation, right? I was just browsing, okay,
yeah.
being a non-tech guy. Data annotation is nothing but you give more sophisticated data or more defined data so that the output of AI tool also depends on that. But how is this relevant, or what does this mean to an organization?
So data annotation is exactly the activity, like I said, data labeling.
Mhm.
Those are interchangeable words. Annotation is mostly used in terms of computer vision, where you might have seen, tools on MacBook where it
Hmm.
provides you an option
Hmm.
to annotate on an image.
Correct,
That
correct,
is, you
correct.
draw something, you write something, you strike something off. So these are all annotation activities. So that's what data annotation
Hmm.
is.
Hmm.
It was more relevant in terms of computer vision, that is images and video, where these human annotators, they are actually called humans in the loop. So
Hmm.
AI is
HITL,
HITL.
HITL,
AI
yeah.
is mostly machines talking to one another, no human interaction, right? But this human in the loop is where a person is constantly part of that activity, monitoring, validating, correcting. These are activities done by humans in the loop. Now data annotators, data labelers, they are all humans in the loop basically,
Okay, okay. So technically helping AI model to
to
get things
perform
out.
better
To
and better.
yeah.
Yes, someone constantly looking at the model performance and correcting as and when needed.
Hmm.
We are all consumers of AI mostly, right? For example, we might interact with the chatbot. If your food delivery is delayed, you interact with the chatbot today. You don't get to talk to real humans
Correct.
because most of those are replaced by chatbots.
Chatbots, yeah.
Now, if the chatbot is not really giving you the right answer, you're frustrated as a customer. Now, if there is no human in the loop there who can jump in,
Who can analyze what is the query about?
yes,
Hmm.
who can make sure that the system is responding in the right way, and whenever it goes wrong, you pitch in as a human and you give
Make it
solution to the
better.
problem. Yes.
Hmm.
And the other job they also do is they fix the data where it was going wrong and provide it to the team that is building this model. They retrain the model so that it does not make the same mistake again.
Hmm.
That's why they're part of this constantly.
System. Hmm.
Yes.
Now, coming back to the journey of startup, right? Now, when we say AI, there are a lot of startups, like you said, in the market. Uh, it, I also want to understand what difficulties this startup face with the rapid growth what is happening around. Uh, so one see to with computing and data becoming more expensive. So how can a startup be so competitive? Because you said data, it's not easy. It's difficult to get. It's
Yeah,
quite expensive, right?
yeah.
So how can they be competitive?
Most startups today are finding shortcuts to develop a solution. For example, most of the AI products today are built on top of foundation models.
Their
Foundation
existing product?
foundation models are
Oh,
existing
okay,
AI models.
okay.
They are trained with huge amount of data. They can perform most actions, but you need to tweak it a little bit to make it work for your use case. Right? It's only a little delta, not too much. You need not start from ground up. So most companies are doing this using the shortcut where they take a foundation model, do a little annotation in-house or
Mm-hmm.
outsource it to a small company with 5 10 people, little amount of data. Model starts performing a little better and they make it a product. That's why it's very hard today to even find out which is the better product when there is a competition. Every product is having a little delta difference and you don't know which one to go with.
Correct.
Today, to build an app there are so many AI based solutions, Lovable, then there is Builder. There are so many things and you
Yes,
don't know
fraction
what.
of seconds you
Yes,
have
but you don't
solution.
really know what is the difference between them, which can perform better for your use
A
case. You just have
slight
to go.
difference in the output, but
Yes,
does not make much
you
of
just
a
have to go with one of those. And this is the shortcuts. Like you mentioned, compute is very expensive. Not every company can afford it.
effort with. Yeah,
So a
especially a
non-funded,
startup. Yeah,
yes, a non-funded startup, bootstrap company like ours, we cannot afford huge compute, right? We have to put in our own money. And the risks also along
yeah,
with
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Now, that is why most startups they don't need any compute. They just take Azure AWS subscription. They take one or two GPUs or normal VMs and run their model in it. It's as simple as that. The big ones like Anthropic, OpenAI, and Oracle, they all need these huge compute machines because they're the ones developing those foundation models,
Foundation models.
which can impact so many products across the world. So very few companies are actually consuming those huge compute and actually paying for it, paying to Nvidia and other companies. We don't.
Yeah,
For example, I've written about this as well, that our company Taskmonk today, even today, our Azure subscription is $2,000 a month, which is very low for running a product which serves about 10,000 people concurrently. $2,000 is low, but we have made it very low using our optimized architecture.
yeah.
So if you optimize the architecture where you're actually not deploying all the models in one place or developing huge or training huge models, you don't need so much compute. This is where some organizations don't get it right, because if your CEO or your CTO is not aware of what is the actual requirement to develop a model, you might acquire a large amount of compute thinking it is absolutely necessary, and there won't be.
Cost
It's huge.
automatically
Yes,
increases. Yeah,
so suddenly you put in a lot of money into that, but at the end of the day not much would be used. I've seen a lot of startups run into problems where they take cloud subscription and they don't put any monitoring or the usage of it. Suddenly they end up with 10,000, $15,000 bill in a month because some developer decided to use some
use
machine, some resource. Cloud is very expensive. I
yeah,
would still prefer going back to olden days where we actually acquire our own machine, host it in a place, and run your software much cheaper. But there is a lot of overhead. You need people to maintain it,
correct.
and network bandwidth. All of this matters. But with cloud, all that is solved. So you're paying more, but it can actually get very expensive, even for small
Mm,
startups. Which is the difference between funded and non-funded
non-funded.
startups. Yeah, funded companies they don't really care.
So you told about Taskmonk being bootstrap, right, which is not funded. But let's assume startups mainly they are funded, right,
Yes.
or they want to get funds so that they can expand.
Yeah.
But as an investor, let's assume if I am an investor, I concentrate on what is return on investment, right? What is an ROI rather than the hype, what
Yeah.
gets created. How is this impacting a startup which actually want to do something in AI? See, AI, getting into AI, it's not like you get a result day one itself. It's a process.
Yeah,
But investors might not be ready to wait
true.
for that. Yeah, they want money out of what
Yeah,
they've invested.
this is why one of the reasons why we didn't want to take any funds until today, or even now we don't want any funds, is because it's difficult to deal with investors. You should be prepared for it. What
Hmm. Hmm.
changes when you take investment from an external party is your vision may not be their vision, and your
Yeah,
vision may not see the light anymore. You may not be able to work on it anymore. You are forced by someone else to do something differently. Maybe a practical solution may not be, you don't know. They might be smarter than you, and they would be actually suggesting a better solution, but in most cases you don't have control over what you want to build. For us, with respect to Taskmonk, we had a vision, and we still, go with the same vision.
vision.
What we want to do, our original idea was to, introduce computer and applications to tier 2, tier 3 city people who are actually working on computers today. They need to see what softwares can do, how software can make their work better, because they were interacting only with Excel and Word, right? Like I said, those are very basic. Now what an application can do, for example, in the beginning, they were thrilled when we could allocate tasks to them, where they need not really be aware of what's coming their way, how much they should work on in a day. But now there is a system constantly monitoring and allocating them work, giving them relevant work, what they have worked
What
on,
they yeah.
same kind of data, not random data. So there is a lot
Their
of
life is
improvement.
simple, in other words. Yeah.
This was something we found to be amazing, that you're introducing systems to people who would not otherwise get an opportunity to do all of this, right? Those people are actually impacting the way AI is built today. They are the actual people who are providing the training data. Huge. They may not be aware of it because their knowledge might be limited to what is actually being developed is not out of their exposure, right? They don't get to interact with the end customer, so their knowledge is limited. What happens to the data they trained, they may not know.
They might.
So
They're
this
just
was an
part of that
opportunity.
process.
Yes. So this is what we thought is a cool thing to do. Also something we actually believe in, that we are making an impact, providing employment to so many people indirectly. Of course, we are not hiring them, but indirectly it is generating a lot of employment.
Correct.
And to the people who have not much opportunity as the tier 1 cities.
Hmm.
coming from
Exposure,
coming
yeah.
from a tier 2 city, I know the
The
lack of
difficulties, yeah.
opportunities, yes, but
Yeah.
this is a great opportunity. And I recently got to know that one of our customers, a data labeling company out of Andhra Pradesh, they have an office now here in Indrali.
Oh,
Yeah, it's called Indie Village Solutions. They are our
I've
customer
seen
as
that.
well.
I
Yeah,
think I've heard. Yeah, yeah.
it's great. Now a lot of people I know have started working for their
Working.
company. It's a great opportunity. This is how, when there is,
Exposure gets
yes,
created. Yeah.
when there is on one side a lot of enterprises, laying off people, on the other side these data labeling
Creating
companies
jobs.
creating jobs. And we being in between, we get to see both the worlds, and we are kind of, trying to balance as much as possible, but we don't know the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But AI guys are quite expensive, right? So how is this impacting startup? Because as a see, my profession also as an HR, right? When we hire AI, the common salary range what we see, I don't want to take the numbers, but compared to other skill set, okay, it's need of the situation. I
Yeah.
do understand, but for a startup, it is going to be a nightmare most of the times, especially when people jump from company to
Yes.
company. So how does that?
Yeah, it's a real challenge. That is why the only difference I say is if one of the founders themselves are very hands on AI,
Hmm.
right?
Dependency is less.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, as a founder, you are ready to work any amount of time, right? You will put in all your efforts to make it successful. So one founder having hands-on experience on AI can become equal to four machine learning engineers that they want to hire. You can, because like I said, there is not much coding that you need to do as a machine learning engineer. In AI, the actual coding is very little. The other groundwork is more, where you need to decide on the frameworks, the models that you want to use, the training data that you need to acquire, lot of other things. It's mostly decisions, constantly making those right decisions, and then building the end product. The actual building is not too much of an effort. It's just knowledge. You
Knowledge.
need to have
Hmm.
enough knowledge to build it. So that's how I think if one of the founders is hands on, it is definitely going to be easy. But if
Great,
you
great
have to
input
hire
actually.
everyone to build,
That is
then
going
it's
to
very
be very
challenging.
difficult.
Yeah, because like you said, they're more expensive
Quite
than
expensive.
normal ones. But also, like I mentioned, you don't need too many people also. Data scientists or machine learning engineers, you would need only a handful. If you're developing a product, you need more software developers in comparison that way.
So now statutory regulations also, the government policies, it's becoming stronger, right? Especially when data is involved. Uh, there is EU AI Act, there is GDPR, and all those things, right? So how is this impacting startups?
It's unclear to most of startups what is allowed,
Hmm.
what is not allowed, what is as per the regulations and what is not, because it's a huge law that you need to go through and interpret, and most of the interpretation can go wrong. So when the laws came, it was very challenging for people to adapt because they didn't have sufficient knowledge to understand what is the government allowing and what are they putting controls on. For example, when India first brought in the law, where the government said, okay, every model that gets developed has to pass, it's like a censor board, has to pass the government censorship, and only then it can go to
Correct,
production. It
correct.
faced a lot of backlash because people don't have that amount of time to deal with uh, all these bodies, because it takes an large
True,
amount
true.
of
And it's not
time.
simple also,
Yes,
right? So
so it's not a viable option, so that's why that was rolled back. But what EU did, they brought in strong laws against a lot of misuse of AI, which
real
India,
cases,
real
what has
cases,
happened.
yes. Right now, India is also coming up with different policies, but it's very essential because one of the biggest problems that I see today is deepfakes.
Hmm. Hmm.
You cannot really say whether the person in the image or the video is that person
The
or is it
output is
deepfake.
direct impacting.
Exactly, and this can cause so many problems in so many families. We have seen news of so many
Yeah,
people
yeah, true,
taking the wrong
true.
steps because someone decided to create their deep fake, and this is the biggest impact. So where AI is supposed to have a positive impact on everyone's life, here the cases that we see are impacting negatively,
So such
and
regulations are required.
they are required, but
They're
they should be
required.
viable as well. For a startup to grow fast and develop products fast, you need to also have simpler policies. Now, just say this is
But
possible, this is not.
impact is
Yes, but
effective.
it's needed. It's like a police who is putting some restrictions on what you are
Like
going
a
to do.
checklist, like a
Yes,
watch. Yeah.
yeah,
So now, coming back to organizations moving towards AI, right? At what point of time do you think organizations should realize it's a AI ready company? Not every organizations are ready, right?
yeah,
It's not like because customer has asked, let me go towards AI. Technically, inside within the organization, you have to be ready with the things around, right?
yeah. I think a company will be fully AI ready when it's run by one person.
Run by one
One
person.
person. You don't need anyone to run a company other than you, where everything is AI enabled. So, for example, your development is done by AI, your deployment is done by AI, your support is done by AI, your testing is done by AI, HR is done by AI, admin is done by AI. If something like this happens, which I'm not sure will ever happen,
Happen.
but if that happens, that is when the company is fully AI,
Fully
right?
AI. Okay. Fully
Otherwise,
automated.
yes, otherwise there will always be departments which won't really be impacted by AI, or having to do anything with AI, no association other than using ChatGPT and things like that. For example, today you are from HR. AI does not really impact HR much today because employees don't need a system to talk to when they're in trouble.
Correct. Correct.
They need a
Correct.
human. They
Correct.
need someone who understands their problem. Similarly, how we interact with the support on any portal, right? We need humans. For example, in Amazon, I always prefer choose an agent, talk to an agent, because
It
that's
makes
they can
sense.
they can
Yeah.
understand your
Yeah.
problem. The system cannot, and you run out of patience. So HR is definitely something should not be replaced by AI, because that's when the humans will lose the
I think
touch
all
of
HRs will be
interacting.
happy now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Similarly, there are certain functions in every company which need not become AI enabled.
Maybe part of it, if
Yes,
not entire. Yeah.
yes. But also there is other factor, cost. AI is not becoming cheaper by day. It is becoming more and more expensive.
Expensive.
It is the reverse of what software products used to be.
Mm.
Software products, when someone comes up with a very cool product, it would be priced really high. When a competitor comes, the price comes down.
Definitely slashes down.
Yes, but with AI, with every feature they are releasing, the price is going up. And tomorrow, if you need to replace an entire team with a few models, few products put together, which functions like the team, the cost can actually become more than the humans that you had. So it may not equate to being cheaper. In that case, why do you need AI
Yeah,
for
yeah.
certain functions? You don't. You need AI only where things can become faster, where you can develop more in the given amount of time. For example, your software development can become much faster with
Faster,
AI.
much faster, accurate also.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's where you need a lot of AI. And it's not to replace humans, it is just to do more work. You can have the same amount of team, but do more work. Come up with more
Increase the
products, more
efficiency.
features.
Yeah.
Yes. That is what companies need to do. We have been lean from the beginning. Even today, we have only 25 employees full time. We have not, laid off anyone. But we don't need to. We are also using a lot of AI. We use Cloud Code, we use
Mm.
OpenAI. A lot of people use their own things to make their work faster. But you don't need to replace anyone because AI has arrived.
Has arrived.
You can do more. You can ask people to, give more output. That is what an organization needs to do than just laying off people, in my opinion.
What is that early warning an organization should feel that is not ready for AI?
It starts from top. So if
Okay.
if the top
The
leadership
signals. I'm talking about signals. Yeah.
signals is when, as if you are in a competitive business, if
Mm.
your product is not competitive enough in terms of AI, if your competitor already has certain AI enabled features and you don't, then definitely it's a bad signal. You need to go hand in hand with your competitors in terms of AI, because it may not actually have the impact on the end users who are using, because we use products like Atlassian,
Mm. Mm.
right? And they release a lot of AI features which we don't even use. We don't need them. We just use it for support. And we don't need a lot of features they release. But if they don't, and if their competitors do, the way you perceive them is very different. And that's a bad signal. If you are unable to do even the basics, integrate basic things that a company is expected to do. Today, for example, every product is expected to have a chatbot, AI based chatbot, which can navigate you through different things,
Correct.
help you answer basic questions. That's the least expectation. If your organization is not even ready to do that, you're definitely in the wrong
It's a
place.
wrong signal.
Yes. So simple things. You don't need to build another chat GPT to become AI enabled or
At
have a
least start
future.
implementing smaller.
Yes. Use what is available. First, do that. Don't go and develop your own thing unless it's absolutely necessary. Start using what is already available. Become AI enabled. Become AI powered. Don't become an AI company. You just need that at the moment. You make certain things faster, you make certain things more efficient using what is available. That is the basic maturity. So you get in a few people who understand what's available in the world, make the right decisions, integrate with your product or your company, change the way you do the work today. That's all is necessary for any company to be competitive and also be AI enabled.
Just getting excited because you spoke about HR right a couple of minutes back. So, as an HR in the organization, or as a learning and development team in the organization, every organization has. What role do they have to help organization go uh, modern technology?
Yeah. The HR, see, when I was an employee of another company, like everyone, I used to also think, what is the job of HR,
HR.
right? Why do we even need them in the company? They are just troubling us, they are just creating more problems. That was the impression,
Yeah,
which might be relevant even today with a lot of employees, right? But when you become the founder of a company, that
you
is when you
realize the
realize
same.
the importance of HR. That is when you realize your limitations as a founder. If you think, okay, I can do the job of an HR, that's when you will realize your limitations. You don't understand people enough. That is not your job. You cannot change the way people pursue certain things, the way their image is, a lot of things, which is what the real impact of HR is. If the HR of a company is really strong, they can change the way the employees behave. One is that, and also what they give back to the company. Every company's expectation from the employees is they need to give us back for what we are paying
What
them
we
or
are
what we
paying.
are
Yeah,
offering, right?
yeah. Hmm.
So you can't force people to give you back that. But if you can create an image in their mind that this is a good company, they are taking care of me, they deserve my time, they deserve my efforts.
Give them importance. Yeah.
Yes, if that comes in the employee's mind, automatically your productivity gets better, the entire organization health gets better. It's very good. Now this impact can only be created by HR.
HR team.
As a leader, if we think we can create this impact, it may work. Sometimes in a small company it might, but when your company grows, you are doing what is best for your company.
Hmm. Hmm.
You're constantly fighting the conflict whether you need to prioritize your company or your people. Obviously, as a leader, you have to prioritize the company, because if you just prioritize the people and not the company, where are you taking them? Right? You need to
Yes.
lead as a
Yeah,
company, and
yeah.
then as an impact, the employees get better and better opportunities. But this is the conflict. Now the balance is created by HR. And I'm not saying a young junior HR can have this kind of impact, because they are also learning a
Learning.
lot of
Yeah.
psychology of humans, right? Now this takes time. So you need to have those HR leaders in the company. You are one for sure, right? You
Hmm.
know what your role is,
Correct.
and how much your leadership relies on you to do certain things,
Correct.
right? It takes a huge load of our back. And you can hand over certain things, you can blindly believe them to do the job.
Correct.
Whereas with other departments, you cannot blindly believe them. You still need to monitor a lot of things, you still need to correct them. So this is where HR is a little different. And as a leader, I have understood the impact of
Importance.
HR,
Yeah.
importance and impact in a company.
It's like you leave the people function or human resource function to the department and concentrate on the
Yes,
core value
exactly. Yeah,
creation, right?
yeah, you can just
So
focus on your
what is
job.
required? Yeah,
Yeah,
grow the company, right?
correct. Yeah,
That's the intention.
yeah.
Okay, now coming back to AI, the future of AI, right? What fundamental change are you expecting probably in next 3 to 5 years?
So I have always been a big believer of this, that today what AI was supposed to achieve in 2025, it has not achieved.
This is a backlog.
There is a huge backlog because LLMs came out of nowhere. Large language models like ChatGPT, Claude, they came out of nowhere and completely
It's a
disrupted
surprise
disrupted the
test.
vision of so many companies.
Correct.
Because we used to work with companies who were acquiring good training data in 2020, 2021, to build real world class products, right? And they completely stopped working on that because LLMs came and they had to completely switch their business goals, integrate chat gpt and other things. A lot of things changed
That
in a lot of companies.
roadmap itself got
Yes.
disrupted there.
And what happened, all the cool ideas, they took a backseat. Even today I
Or
feel some
probably
of
they
those
just
are.
cancel those.
Yes, because that takes a lot more effort, lot more money compared to what these LLMs
Correct.
can do.
Correct.
So we saw a lot of projects completely stop and they never came into production. If they had come, this would have been such a cool world today. One of the simple things what I would like to mention here is, there are CCTV cameras everywhere, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
What do they do today? They just monitor, capture, record, and then someone has to look at it and perform certain actions, all in the aftermath, not live, right? Imagine an AI enabled surveillance camera which is trained to monitor and police people. If there is a theft happening, it can immediately alert someone, it can blow a siren, it can identify everything about him, alert the police,
Hmm.
lot of things,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? These were some of the cool ideas we have seen companies working on. Not completely this
Com-
solution, but parts of
some
this.
idea
Yes.
generation. Hmm.
Where are these have not really come
Have just
even now.
disappeared. Hmm.
And I don't think many companies are even working on that, because computer vision took a backseat. Text became the future because of LLMs. Everyone started focusing on simple things like translation, a transcription. Then what are the other things that text do today? Chat gpt summarizing. became the mainstream ideas for a lot of companies, and the real impact that AI can create,
It
which
has
can actually
lost
make a difference in every person's
society.
life, in the society, in the way you live, in the community, everything. I want all my neighbors in my village to know what AI is. They should start talking about, there is a camera that can monitor and make sure that you're doing the right thing. You cannot cross a road because there is a camera monitoring you, right? So many things
Correct,
that
correct,
AI can
correct.
create, and they would also become aware of AI. Today, ChatGPT is only for, I would say, the educated class, not
It's
for
not
the
reached.
others. It's not.
But sometimes, is it? You spoke about family and people around you, right? How difficult it is to convince them what Taskmonk does, or getting customers. Is it a easy factor, or convincing your family that what Taskmonk does?
It's the hardest thing. I don't think my parents have understood yet what my
What is
company does.
something is sitting in the
Yes.
room and doing
Yes.
something?
I remember an episode, I think some 2 years ago, where my cousin came and told me that your dad is worried what exactly your company does. He comes and asks me whether the company is doing okay, are they working on the right product or not, right?
Okay, if you try to explain, also they might not understand,
It's
right? So
it's difficult
yeah,
because AI is difficult to explain, but today most people have understood what AI is. That it's a system which can do a lot of things. At least that much they have understood. But when you begin with training data, it is hard because you need to know how an AI is developed
correct,
first. There is a
correct,
model which
correct, correct,
gets
correct.
trained, a lot of things, GPU, so many things. Training data is very early in the journey, and this is something you cannot explain to a lot of people, right? Only people who have been, even in enterprises, when a company with a CEO who is not AI, who doesn't have relevant knowledge on AI, they don't know about training data. They just think that AI can be developed just by hiring a few people, and a data
Just
scientist
you
comes
know,
to the
call to the
company.
god and tell.
Yeah, they are just like, okay, let me just call this data scientist to my company and he'll build the model
He'll
for me.
build the model.
The data scientist comes and says, we don't have training data. Now the CEO asks, what is training data? Where do we get this from?
But you
It is
already hired and paid him a big
exactly,
amount. Yeah,
exactly. So you made the wrong step. Now this is the difference. So forget my family. I don't think even most enterprises today realize that there is a need for training data.
training
And
data.
when they realize they are left behind, their competitors are already
It's
ahead
too
of them.
late.
It's too late.
Too late.
It takes a long journey. It is not easy.
So, what's future of Taskmonk? Where do you see Taskmonk in next 3 5 years?
For Taskmonk, like we have seen the change over the last few years. The amount of jobs the humans do in this whole process of acquiring training data is actually changing. I am not saying it is reducing because the amount of work is increasing, but the way they work has changed. A lot of training, the data annotation work today is done by the systems. Like Taskmonk is AI enabled, AI powered. It has a lot of pre-processors which can look at the data and do a lot of data annotation by itself and then give it to humans.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we have something called L1, L2, L3, right? That is someone doing the L1 job, then L2
The
reviewing it,
impact wise, yeah.
yes, to increase the accuracy of training data. So L1 is becoming lesser and lesser today
The
because the system is
entry level, yeah.
system is
Hmm.
able to do a lot of those things. But the L3 tasks are increasing because the expectation is increasing in terms of accuracy.
Hmm.
Customers
Hmm.
used to expect 95% accuracy. Today they have gone up to 99%. 95 to 99 looks like a small number, but in AI, that accuracy is hardest to achieve.
Hardest to achieve.
99 to 100, it's impossible in my opinion. Because, like I said, no AI system can become 100% accurate. So, 99 to 100% is impossible. 95 to 99 is hard, right? That is where the real impact is happening. So, Taskmonk, the future for us is
To
making a difference in, speeding up that 95 to
the
99%
quality,
accuracy,
quality wise,
quality.
quality of output.
So all this while we worked on enabling people to do the job on a system, do some pre-processing, make their job easier. Now what we need to focus on is helping them reach that accuracy without needing those extra special humans to increase the accuracy. The system should enable them to reach that accuracy. So the future is more production based. It is not going to be in the early stage where you are developing a model from scratch. It is not
People have
going to that.
already passed the stage. Yeah.
Yes. The future is more about production. So you're constantly in the production, human in the loop, and you need to take immediate actions. You need to understand where the systems are going wrong and take actions, because everyone is talking about robotics, which is the
Correct.
future, right? That
Correct.
is when the real impact will be. When robots can do everything for
Everything.
you,
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
actual replacement of human
Humans.
in the same form, right?
Or
And
probably a better version.
better version.
Yeah.
It can become more accurate, more smart,
Yeah.
a lot of other things, but there should be a human to constantly monitor the robot as well.
Correct.
It's not one to one, it may be 1 to 100. You're monitoring 100 robots in a warehouse, but you're making sure it's doing the right job. It's not fighting among themselves, it's
Correct.
not going and hitting someone else, it's not destroying
So
anything.
Rajnikant has a role to play then.
Probably, yeah, exactly. He
Yeah.
had that
He
vision
had
long
that
ago.
vision long back, right?
Yes. So this that will be the real impact of AI.
Correct.
Robots
Correct.
replacing humans is definitely going to happen.
So Taskmonk started with e-commerce. That's what you told, right?
Yeah.
The initial domain kind. So what other industries you're planning to expand?
We have already expanded. We have become industry agnostic at this point.
Okay.
From the product point of view, the product that is Taskmonk today supports any data type, any industry. Like I said, you can
It's
label
end of the
from
day data.
end of the day data, any kind of data, text, audio, image, video, document, LiDAR, DICOM in medical
Hmm,
industry,
hmm,
the
hmm, hmm,
MRIs,
hmm, hmm,
X-rays, all
hmm.
that you see, that also, all of it is supported on the Taskmonk platform today. But on the other hand, there is a slight problem in terms of the skilling.
People skill set.
Yes, data annotation earlier used to be a blind job. It used to be simple. You see the image, you draw a bounding box around the car, right? Simple. Today, that job is done by Taskmonk as part of the product itself. It can identify the
It's
car using.
automated.
It's
Hmm,
automated fully. Humans don't need to do that anymore. But today, it's more and more skill based. You need to understand the domain the customer is in.
hmm, hmm, hmm.
You need to understand the problems the domain can have. You need to understand certain, you know, different aspects of that industry. It requires more smart labeling. It is not just SOP based
High end
labeling anymore.
labeling. Yeah.
Yes, it is not just SOP based that customer says this is A, this is B, this is C. That is not the case. You need to be smarter to make those decisions now.
Analysis
Yes,
is
so it is
quite
becoming, data labeling is becoming more skill based, which is why we have started investing in developing those skills.
training your employees.
Training is done by the companies which own the employees
Okay.
for
Huh.
data
Hmm.
labeling. We are coming up with systems which can help them train them, because today data labeling is not a challenge. Generating those skilled resources is becoming a challenge, which is why there is a slight gap in terms of what the platform can offer versus what the humans can offer. So we have become industry agnostic, but all the labelers have not become industry agnostic. For example, DICOM I mentioned is in the medical industry.
Domain. Hmm.
Our labelers cannot become as good as radiologists today to identify what is the problem in an MRI.
In-depth knowledge.
In
Yeah.
depth knowledge, they can label if they are trained that this is a crack, this is a tear. They can label that if they are trained, but there are certain things that only radiologists can identify.
And your output is going to impact
Yes,
if you give a wrong
yes,
label.
yeah.
Hmm.
So this is where the skilling is becoming more essential, and that is what we are looking towards next. So Taskmonk is going to become more like the operating system for these companies, where every aspect of their organization is system based, and that is provided by Taskmonk.
Great. So, what is one belief? I don't want to call it as a blind belief, but one belief you have changed about AI over the years.
One belief that I have changed. I've been in this journey from the beginning, because like I said, we are in the early life cycle of developing an AI model, right? So what happens as part of this process is that we get to know about the products that are going to come out in the next few
In
years.
future. Hmm.
Yes. What other companies are envisioning? What are they working towards? What is that cool idea that they want to develop? Because at part of the training data exercise,
You know
we
the
get to know
secrets.
the full, yeah, we get to know the secrets, which we can't talk about for sure,
Correct.
right? We sign
Correct.
an NDA, but we get to know. And like I said, some of the coolest ideas that I've seen have not come into production because of this. So Even if I tell you in next 5 years that something cool can come up,
Tomorrow itself it might
it
change.
might change. There would be another disruption like LLM we don't know about.
You never know.
Yeah. So one thing that I believe in AI is nothing can go as planned. If you believe
Just wait
that
for the surprise.
if you believe that in next 5 years as a founder that you will take your company from this to this is what you are going to build, you're totally on the wrong line. Today roadmap is a myth. As a Taskmonk, we don't even have a roadmap because I don't know what we are going to develop in the next few weeks. Right now, what we are developing in this sprint, we know, but in the next sprint, we don't know what's coming. What is that we need to integrate? What is that we need to enable? What is what is the new data type that the customer might come with?
What market requires.
What market requires? Because every day the priority changes. So roadmap is definitely not going to work for most of the companies like ours. We cannot plan 6 months in advance and say this is what we are going to stick to. It won't work.
But do your best now.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
thing.
You need to have enough skills, enough people who can work on whatever comes their way. They should be prepared. They should be updated with whatever technology is available. That is what we are focusing mainly on. We are telling our employees, "Okay, something new has come here, try your hands on it. We may not have an immediate need for it, but we should know about it." So that's how we are going ahead with this problem. The one other thing that I want to also emphasize on is that there is a lot of vibe coding tools today, right? Most of them are also a little bit painful to work with.
Correct.
It does things that you don't want to do. As a human coder, you wouldn't do certain things that you don't want to touch, but it does. So it's hard to control them. Now some people found it to be very useful to work with. Some people found it to be painful. So there is still an imbalance in our company where some people love to work with it, some people find it really painful to work with,
Difficult.
but we cannot tell who is right, who is wrong. So that is another thing, that every company wants to replace a lot of developers with vibe coding tools, but can you rely on it at 100%? You cannot.
That's a question mark.
Yes.
So Vicky, if not CTO in Taskmonk, if not a co-founder of Taskmonk, what would he be? What would he would have been?
The dream.
Back to the Bangalore support role?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, I wouldn't have been in this industry at all if my goal was not to become an entrepreneur. This, I never imagined myself to be, working in another company for 20 years, or starting from a software developing, reaching the CEO of a certain company. I never imagined that journey
That
for me.
journey.
Yeah, I wanted this quick switch to the top position, but it requires a lot of
A lot
hard
of
work
hard
as
work.
well, right? So that was the only journey if I had joined corporate for me.
Okay. Okay.
Otherwise, my idea, my goal was to become a professional football player, right?
I know.
I've been playing football from my childhood.
I know. I
We
know. Yeah.
participated in
I've
so many
seen.
tournaments here. But with my teammates, we always used to discuss that we don't have the opportunity to make it big. Our parents don't support it. Our
Correct.
colleges don't support it. So how do we become a professional player? We cannot. We might have the talent. We don't know. It can be improved. But we used
True.
to play at a very great level.
Correct.
Didn't
Correct.
happen. So that would have been my other career, which
If
would have been much cooler than
correct.
what I'm doing today,
True.
right?
True. 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 True.
Yeah. So that would have been the other
Great.
Wiki.
Great. One final message, young engineers, as the people who are going to come out of college or have just come out of college. One final message based on your experience.
Not to panic with what's going on around.
That's a very great message, actually.
Absolutely trust your instincts. Figure out what you want to do, where you want to be. And if you are actually just looking for a job, I have not really believed in that one much. No one should have the goal of just getting a job. The job should be what you want to be, which would be impactful to everyone around you, right? If your goal is just to earn some money, there are multiple ways to do that. You don't necessarily need to find a job. You don't need to panic that as an engineer you may not get placed, all of those are not really
That
the
should not matter you much.
should
Yeah.
not matter at all. So you should have the bigger picture in mind even when you're studying. Unfortunately, even if you are in the wrong domain that you don't want to continue, there is always an opportunity to switch. It is never too late, but you should have that vision from the beginning what you want to be, and it should not change continuously. I've seen a lot of people who change their vision every year because they go with the flow, what their friends do, what has worked for others. And I don't think that everything that has worked for others will work for another person.
For you. Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
person's journey is different. You need to believe your instinct, you need to know what your potential is, and you should just capitalize on that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here today with you. You wouldn't even have invited me because I come from a village, and I would have been just an average employee somewhere else, and nobody would have even known my name. So this is where I think if you actually believe in your potential and take the right steps, it's definitely possible. And I would suggest everyone to look at the bigger picture, that don't look at this as an opportunity for you to get an employment. Look at this as an opportunity to give employment to a lot of people. Every person should have the capability to employ others, because you're not making difference in one person's life, you're making a difference in that person's
Society
family,
itself.
in their family. A lot of employees that we have is a sole breadwinner in the family, and it makes an impact to the entire family when you provide employment. That should be the goal. If you want to, make it big in such a way that your business is going to generate a lot of opportunities for others, and money is just an outcome of it. Don't go after it. It should come to you because of the good work you do.
Excellent, excellent. So what a thought. So, Vicky, thank you so much for accepting my request, agreeing to come to my podcast, Manthan with Laxman. So one thing is true, innovation or your goal, it can come from anywhere. It can come from small villages also, right? But what is important, technology will shine when it, when there's a purpose around it, right? When innovation and purpose meet together, the outcome is much, much bigger than the business expectation, what you have.
True.
Excellent thought. Thanks for sharing your journey. Thanks for sharing your experience. I'm sure young entrepreneurs, young owners, young kids coming out of college is they are going to get inspired with the talk what you have given. So once again, thank you for coming to my podcast.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Totally loved it. And good luck to you. You're doing something very different here, not just being an HR, you're doing this with tremendous amount of different kinds of people. And I've seen your podcast. I just met the other person
Yeah,
who you're just
just
contacted.
before. Yeah,
Very
yeah.
different, very different experiences, and great to be here. All the best.
Thank you so much. So, thank you, viewers, for watching this episode. I'm sure you would have got inspired. So, we'll come up with more such inspiring episode. Meet a lot of inspiring people. Till then, stay tuned. Please do subscribe my channel, Manthan with Lakshman. Signing off from this episode. Thank you.